Today's event is brought to you by Assessfy in collaboration with Aegis School of Data Science and is also supported by Aegis Gramble Awards, MUNI Campus, and Seagull. We are also honored here to have an incredible panel of speakers with us today who will share their on-ground experiences and forward-thinking insight. We'll be also showcasing you a live demonstration of Assessfy AI platform where you will see the AI learning in action. So before moving ahead, I would like to also welcome all the panelists of today. So we have Ms. Virginia Sharma, Director of Academics, Dubai International Private School. We welcome you. We have Professor Yasin Talbi, Vice Principal, American Gulf School. Dr. Ellen Thanas, Head of Curriculum and Assessment, DR Private Academy, Diva Boys. We have Mr. Chandan Sonowal, AI Leader, K-12, Aegis School of Data Science. And Mr. Bhupesh Dahiya, Educational Futurist, CEO, Aegis School of Data Science, and founder of Assessfy. Uh, during the ongoing process of this event, we'll be also circulating a Google form in the chat box for workshops. What we are going to conduct workshop on AI in classroom, aligning with UAE's educational vision, and we would request everybody to fill the form, whoever is interested. Along with that, SSY and Aegis School of Data Science and AI are also conducting a comprehensive survey to access AI readiness in schools and also explore how we can assist the UA's school with scalable, high impact solution. To register, we'll share the link and we will request everybody to register there. So before moving ahead, let me quickly share my screen and show you a video that will really set up the context for today's discussion. Just a minute. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Anita, it's visible.
Just a minute. Just a minute.
Your audio is not working, Anita. You have to share audio.
Yeah. Praveen, can you play this from your side?
From
signals a major shift towards preparing students for the future of technology.
Quite extensively in artificial intelligence, and it makes a lot of sense to start teaching children at a very young age how to use AI and how AI is going to benefit them, how to use it correctly and ethically. We wanted to make sure that today students are aware of the downfalls of using AI or their limitations, the ethical considerations, the biases that are built into those systems, how to discern them, how to critically approach the utilization of artificial intelligence.
The curriculum is scheduled to be implemented in the academic year of 2025-26.
We broke down AI in education into 4 different fields. One is AI literacy, and that's what this curriculum covers. We also look at AI as a tool to improve personalized learning and to improve differentiated learning in the classroom as a tool to support teachers. And that's something that's currently in development. We are also looking at AI to make school operations more seamless and remove over burdens that are currently on school leadership and also teachers and educators across the board. And also in terms of analytics and teaching students how to design and develop AI.
Assessfy AI, we're ready to help your school lead this exciting transformation. We have teamed up with the highly regarded Aegis School of Data Science and AI to provide leading-edge solutions. We offer a comprehensive full-stack solution for AI education tailored for your school's needs. We provide a wealth of resources and training specifically for educators to ensure a smooth integration. We offer thorough teacher training and certification programs to get your educators ready for AI. Our curriculum includes age-appropriate AI courses that are engaging and effective for all students. We will completely develop the curriculum specific to your goals and student demographics. We will include project-based learning modules to make AI learning hands-on, interactive, and enjoyable. Assessfy offers leading-edge assessment tools to track and measure student success with AI. We offer completely digitized assessments, including AI-driven project-based learning assessments, auto-grading across all types of inputs, digital, handwritten, math, and code, making grading easy and quick. Our system contains competency-based question banks to help students learn and develop skills progressively. Our system offers personalized feedback powered by AI, which helps students learn much more effectively. We promote evaluation that focuses on higher-order thinking skills, which are essential for success in AI. Reach out today to discover how we can support your school's AI journey. We would love to work with you.
Thank you, Praveen. With this, I'll hand over to Mr. Bhupesh Daria to take over to the panel discussion.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. I think this video has set up some context, and I again extend very warm welcome to all of the audience from across the globe. I'm Bhupesh Daharia. I'm a CEO of Aegis School of Data Science and a teacher like most of you. And I'm also founder of a company called Assessfy. So we have extremely wonderful lineup of panelists with us. We have Dr. Allen, we have Virginia Sharma, we have Chandan Sonwal, and I think we have Yasin Tabli. I request all of you, Chandan and Yasin, to please switch on your video and microphone. So before we take a deep dive, so this whole panel discussion, how we are going to really carry out this conversation. So as a moderator, nobody likes job of a moderator. So I will try to really moderate the question answer session in a free flowing way. And once we have the panel discussion, we will address to the question from the audience. Participants, please feel free to write your questions on chat box. And once we are done with the panel discussion, the team will also give you the audio right. You can activate your microphone and you can really express your opinions and ask the questions. So let us come down to the panel discussion. Now, if we see the whole money makes everything really go around, right? And if we see there are two fundamental things in economy. One, basically production of goods, and the other one is production of services. Now, so throughout the human civilization, this whether it is a production of goods or whether production of services, be it telecom services or education services or consulting, or maybe new technology innovation and the development or production of the goods, maybe petroleum or automobile or airline. This is basically outcome of a human knowledge creation and human knowledge consolidation and application in the real world. And all this while the biological neurons, human biological neurons were playing a major role. But of late, what we have observed that digital or say artificial neural network sitting in the digital brain has taken over, and now they're augmenting and they're growing exponentially. And we are got into absolutely a different world where we are excited. At the same time, we are also very much apprehensive about whether the AI will take over our job or AI will take over the whole world, right? And a lot of people are trying to really, predict some dystopian thoughts, including the godfather of AI himself, Professor Jeffrey Hinton. Uh, but nobody can really predict about the future. What we can really take a leap of faith that just like every technology, this technology will also help human being to really unleash its hidden power and perhaps augment our capability. So AI, unlike any other software, or I hate to really call it a software, it's like a intelligence just like a human being has. The only difference is with this artificial intelligence. There's nothing artificial about this intelligence. It is basically aggregation of a human intelligence through computer systems, right? So now, whatever ChatGPT or Gemini give the answers, these are basically answers given by the human being, and the machine has curated it. Machine has really learned those responses, and that's the reason the ChatGPT gives responses which is typically a human being gives or any other system. So now we have very solid knowledge infrastructure which is readily available. And in India, we call it like knowledge of a goddess is Saraswati Devi, right? So I jokingly call that now everybody is having the goddess of knowledge in their hand, and this can really augment their capability. So while AI has impacted almost all industry, whether it is automobile, whether it is telecom, healthcare, insurance, banking, and everything. And last 10 years, I have seen how this technology is unfolding. I happen to set up the India's first data science and AI institution, and I have seen how these things has really evolved exponentially, right? Even 10 years back, we could not really predict that ChatGPT kind of stuff will really happen. Now, I'm really glad and I really welcome this movement wherein UAE government has taken this initiative that yes, rather than higher education, of course, higher education has adopted AI. Let's bring AI into mainstream curriculum. Let's start teaching AI in K-12, right? And this is fundamental shift in terms of really approach. So while we deliver higher education, I see a lot of students, those who are even my age and older than me, when they come to the class, we start teaching them linear algebra, matrices, vectors, right? Linear equation, y equals to mx plus c, because they have forgotten all those concepts. It is important that we all did study these mathematics, but our teachers never told us that where we will be using this. Now, once this thing will be rolled out into K-12, I am very hopeful that teachers and students will equally become aware that why they're studying what they're studying, right? And that will really unleash a new level of a different revolution, right? So I really congratulate all of you that yes, UAE government has announced, and I think the world really take a note. India is also doing similar kind of experimentation. US is trying to really do, and various European countries. So let us take a deep dive with this background into our panel discussion. So Dr. Allen, to you, what is your opinion about this policy framework which UAE government has rolled out? What's your thoughts on that?
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, definitely this policy that UAE launched, I think that it's a very huge and strong initiative to highlight the importance and the transformative power of AI towards preparing a generation that is ready for education based on or an AI-driven education. So I definitely support this policy, and I feel that it is a way to prepare our students nowadays to be AI driven we're maintaining all the ethics and all the criteria needed in order to use AI in the best possible way while keeping the ethics at a higher standards. So definitely it has facilitated many processes, the students learning, adaptive learning, and also it has replaced several administrative tasks that were taking much time from the teachers' instructional period. So I'm very, very supportive to this policy.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Virginia, what's your thought? What's your take on this? How this policy will shape up the future of UAE and in particular to education and students?
I mean, I'll start with a quote that came from Sheikh Mohammed, which is, "Our responsibility is to equip our children for a time unlike ours." And I think I like my colleague, I'm also very much in support of it. You know, we can have this concept of being fearful of it, but it's here and it's not going to go anywhere. And I can remember, I mean, not to age myself, but I can remember using MS-DOS for a personal computer at home on an Apple IIc, you know, and how much technology has advanced since that point in time. And looking at different capabilities, even now, when we're talking about technology and in our schools and with people, the spectrum of know-how, you know, and how that can influence uh, how marketable they are in the job market. So, with this being a transformative moment in education, the UAE is really putting themselves in this position of global leadership. I mean, it's the first country alongside of China globally to roll this out for K-12 education. And I applaud so much because we do face a lot of times in education these generational knowledge gaps or generational issues. We have to remember that in education we have many stakeholders. Part of that includes, you know, people that were educated before us, you know, and that can be talking about past generations. And we have to remember that when we're educating children, we're educating the children that are going to be going into tomorrow, which we don't even see. And we have to equip them the best we can with what we have available today and not focus on necessarily so many things from the past. So I applaud this step forward and I'm excited for it personally.
Yeah, no, so we have to really prepare the student for unknown and we can't really predict how the future would look like, whether we'll have the job or not, right? But irrespective of that, we have to really prepare the students very well. And I think that's what the minister, Honorable Minister Sarah was echoing the thoughts that yes, we missed the bus in terms of really preparing our students on how to handle the social media and what are the drawbacks and what are the pros and cons. But we do not want to really miss this AI bus, and we want to make our student aware that what are the downside, what are the ethical issues, what are the upside, right? Other than just imparting the education and preparing them for the future workforce.
Right.
But making them intellectually strong enough that whatever the future unfolds, they actually are ready for that. Now, Yasin, we would love to really, sorry, you want to really add
Oh,
something,
well,
Marjorie?
yes, I guess I was going back to like the four pillars that were mentioned in the video, but there's actually been like 7 that have been recently identified, and that's they talked about the foundational concepts,
Right.
data and the data and algorithms, software usage,
Right.
but also like you're talking about the ethical awareness,
Right.
as well as the 3 others being real world application, innovation and project design, and
Right.
policies and community. So they're really looking at education very comprehensively, educating the students and how AI is going to be affecting lives in so many different ways. And I think that's great because we want to talk about, like, we want to be transparent about there are many great things that AI provides, but we need to equip not just I mean, our students, our teachers, everyone about, that it's great, but there are flaws, and we need to be able to establish critical thinking, establish higher order, analysis skills in order to look and see where is it correct, where is it incorrect, and how are we going to develop that. And as we use AI as a tool for the student to be able to develop those skills, we're only, up leveling our students in the process. So it's a win-win when you think of it in that's kind of that thought process.
Oh, so I really love this whole framework. This is, as you rightly said, it's a very balanced. It's not only designed to address development of cognitive capability, but at the same time, it is trying to really build up on ethical aspects, software skills, emotional aspects, and with project, they will really develop a lot of interpersonal skills, collaboration capabilities, and those kind of stuff. Now, Yasin, you have amazing experience in this region. And we would love to hear your thoughts on this recent policy rollout. Although this policy is primarily for public schools, so twofold questions. What is your thought? And of course, how this is going to also impact the private schools?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope I'm audible.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank you. So regarding the recent policy that was shared by the government of the United Arab Emirates, I would say that it is just it's another milestone of the improvement forward, and to adapt the future and to be ready for it by the United Arab Emirates government. And I would say that the United Arab Emirates was the first country to in the world globally to appoint a minister of artificial intelligence in 2017. So it's more than 7 or 8 years back from today. That's why this will show the visionary vision of the leaders of the United Arab Emirates, that they are really preparing the country and the next generation for, as my friend. I'm sorry for the name, Margaret, I think, stated before, that we are preparing the next our generation for a different era, different than ours, or not for a time different than ours. So that's why I would say that this is just another milestone from the improvement and the vision of the leaders of the United Arab Emirates. And I would say that by KHDA, there was a recent report. I have done my quick research before we just get into this discussion, where it says that according to KHDA report, it says that over 70% by now, so 70% of schools in Dubai have started integrating EdTech platforms, different platforms, with many pilot and AI-based schools. So this is a very huge number among the Dubai schools to see in a country that is leading its peers in the field of technology. I would say that it is speaking of the integration of AI. It is really it's gonna help a lot the teaching and learning itself. So when we are speaking about the teaching and learning, definitely when you are seeing the criteria, the criteria of a successful lesson, there must be an integration of technology within the lesson, and this is which is an essential criteria by the United Arab Emirates government, as just to give you a framework to put you in the context. Here we are following an inspection framework that all schools in the UAE has to abide by or to comply with. And one of the main criteria in this, which consists of 6 standards, but one of the main criteria now that it is that the schools are being assessed against is the innovation across curriculum and innovation in the school. And this AI tools, and they will highlight the word tools. They are tools, so they are not because this is the issue that most of teachers and most of educators in UAE, sometimes you find that teachers rely 100% of ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever you can name it, to prepare their lessons and so on and so forth. So I would say that the ethical consideration and the frame we should develop a policy within the UAE that is framing the use of AI into the education, so that we can ensure that we are taking the best out of it and not killing the innovation of teachers and of students. Now it is being used as to develop an ALP or ILP, individualized learning plan for students, where you just have to enter the data into the platforms and it designs the learning continuum or the learning journey for that specific students with measurement of progress over time. So from point A to point B, that is a number game for AI. It is very easy for AI platforms. My closing statement that I would like to close with, as we say, like, so there is a fear. There is of course some raising fear from among the education sector and professionals. Maybe people are afraid that AI is going to replace teachers, and I would say, so I would frame it differently. It is actually a danger, but it is, we say that the teachers who are effectively using AI will replace those who are not effectively using AI. So that's it.
Yeah, this is like a similar argument which Alan Turing gave in Second World War, when he was tasked by the British government to decode the Enigma. And that time he developed the computer. So he said that if somebody is holding a gun in front of you, and if you have to deal with the machine, you can't deal with the machine with a hand. You have to develop a machine to deal with the machine, right? So it's like if you have to deal with the AI, you need to equip yourself with the AI knowledge. So we have one of our expert with us, Chandan Sonwal, who is a leader for AI for K-12 segment from Aegis School of Data Science and AI. And he has also set up the smart technology, which is world's largest smart board technology in India. And he has worked in Microsoft, IBM, and various technology companies. Extensive experience. So over to you, Chandan. So while Yasin has pointed out two aspects of AI, which is AI teaching as a part of embedded curriculum, and the other one is, of course, AI tools, which can help educators to improve the efficiency and improve the learning outcome, these two aspects. So over to you. What's your thought, Chandan, on this whole AI, which UAE government has roped out in tools?
I think it's very interesting to hear and know about what the UAE government is trying to do. When I look at AI in K-12, I really look into it from two perspectives. One perspective is to how is AI going to help the teachers in being much more effective in the classroom, right? So that's one perspective. And the second perspective is that what is it that we are going to teach the students as far as AI is concerned? While we might be very, very excited about, adoption of AI education in schools, we need to be very careful in terms of what exactly we are laying it in the path of both the areas. But before that, I think it's important for us to understand how these two areas will impact the students as well as the educators from a short-term as well as from a long-term perspective. If you look at the students, right, each student is different, and each one of them has a different learning path. They do that over a period of time in terms of the pace, in terms of their skill levels, in terms of their understanding of the topic. So I think with the advent of AI, the personalized learning path can be redrawn for each and every student in a much more effective way. And probably that will help the teachers as well as the student in terms of tailoring or customizing their learning path so that it fits them from an overall perspective. That's how I think in one area that, it'll assist the teachers in terms of really guiding and being effective in terms of the learning outcomes for the students by redrafting a personalized learning path for each and every student. That's one. The second, which I feel, is that probably, most of the time the teachers complain or the educators complain about time because they have got a lot of things to do. Apart from just educating the students, they also have to worry about the grading system, the evaluation, the assessment, and all. I think there's one area where probably the automated grading system and all these things can come into play and will probably help the teachers being much more effective in those areas. Lesson planning support, I think that's another thing. Probably gives them the real feedback in real time in terms of whatever they have been assessed or taught or whatever they have been, done in the class. And somebody spoke about the overall classroom management. I think the Honorable Minister had talked about that use of AI in the overall management of the education system.
For improving the operational efficiency and reducing the faculty's burden. Yes.
Right. So I think overall, we need to look at the use of AI from two perspectives. One is how it can make the teachers much more smarter, give them a lot of time, give them more time to mentor, guide, engage, and inspire the students rather than getting bogged down by too many mundane stuff. And at the same time, if the teachers use the AI effectively, they can be great in creating content for their classes. So that's another area where I think it will make a lot of difference. So, but it's very important that you should be very clear in terms of which are the areas you shouldn't be jumping into the whole thing and try to boil the ocean there. So you need to be very careful in that. So I would be very cautious when I'm looking at this whole initiative because you are trying to do too many things and you'll end up burning from the both ends, right? And as far as the students are concerned, right, it's no doubt that we are talking about something creating the future readiness of the students, right? Building them the skills in coding, logic, creative thinking, data analytics, and everything, right? So you're building them for the future. And another thing which will happen is that when you try to bring in AI in schools is that you get to learn hands-on stuff, right? For example, you work on projects like chatbots, you work on projects like image recognition or smart devices, or so students basically learn by doing things. So that's another area where but we need to be careful. Like I said again, I would be repeating it again and again because you need to be very careful in terms of what are you going to teach the students, right? So you have to be very clear on that. Like I said, critical thinking is one area, problem solving is one other area. Interdisciplinary learning is another thing which will help them the moment you have AI in the classroom. So overall, I think it's a great initiative. It will definitely allow and empower the teachers on one side, the educators on one side, and at the same time, it will help the students become much more innovative thinkers, probably ethical leaders, because if you teach them how to go about doing it, they will be much more in that area and probably a much more responsible tech users. So this is how I look at whenever I see adoption of new technology, specifically in K-12 space.
Wonderful. Very insightful, Chandan. Thank you so much. Now, as you rightly said that it is important what we are going to teach in the classroom. And I think we have two experts, Virginia and Dr. Ellen, and they have extensive experience in terms of really operationalizing this grand vision. And any grand vision is as good as a daydreaming until unless you have a very robust operating model, which will make sure that yes, your vision translates into the ground reality. So over to you, Dr. Allen, how we are going to lay, because this is going to be a major challenge. One of the major challenges, how do you really create the age-appropriate curriculum within the framework, right, of which the government has provided? And because what you're going to teach to 12th grade student, you can't really teach the same stuff for first grade. I happen to give feedback on the book which was rolled out by Microsoft and NCRT in India. And I've given a lot of inputs in terms of designing the book's content. And that time, we code this the same issue that yes, you need to be very much aware about the age sensitiveness, right? Age appropriate curriculum need to be designed, content need to be designed, lab work need to be designed. So your thoughts, Alan, how we are going to really translate that vision into curriculum, because that's going to be a Google map in the classroom for the instructors and students.
Yeah, the incorporation of AI tools in many platforms and Google, such as, like, for example, many of the Google apps or Google educational platforms, Microsoft as well, they all have incorporated AI tools, which is excellent in some way or another in creating adaptive learning to students. Nowadays, we all hear about inclusion and the students' rights of learning. Every single student, no matter what abilities he has, he is eligible for learning fully, equally to every single other student within the classroom. And here comes the role of AI to allow this adaptive learning to every individual student and give him the chance to explore exactly similar to any other student within the classroom borders, without having to feel just like ignored in some cases in comparison to the traditional ways of teaching. Also, it has provided the teachers with more instructional time to focus more on engaging the students and to focus more on providing supportive feedback to every individual student, rather than wasting the time on grading, for example, or on doing I don't know, I don't remember like what other tools, things that teachers do inside the classroom. But now AI can replace or can perform these administrative tasks, giving the teachers more time for more effective planning and more efficient planning, giving time for teachers to focus more on the students rather than the operations and the administrative tasks, and to also allow them to focus on creating personalized learning to individual students in a quicker and faster way. For example, one of the hosts talked about the IEPs and the individualized learning plans that could be created very quickly and very effectively using AI nowadays, within a click or within seconds. Even for gifted and talented students, if I want to prepare a plan, it becomes easier from the administrative task point of view, like to create these tasks very easily and very efficiently. However, it still requires lots of monitoring and lots of planning in order to ensure ethics and transparency there.
No, thank you so much. So you rightly highlighted that these AI tools can really make the educator's life much easier, and it can really, in true sense, bring the personalization in the classroom. It can, true sense, can really offer the feedback, reduce a lot of overload on the faculty, since this is a new stuff which AI and now the faculty also need to really learn. They need to allocate a lot of time for the AI learning. And AI learning may not happen in isolation. This AI learning need to get embedded into every course, which could be mathematics and physics. For instance, let's say, for example, faculty can really give the example assignment to the student while they're teaching Python that, okay, convert Fahrenheit into centigrade, right, and write a function, right, and that's how they will integrate both the concept, and that the cross learning will really happen. And you rightly pointed out that yes, AI can do the auto grading. So I teach deep learning and machine learning at my own institution, right? And for last 1.5 years, I have not evaluated routine assignments. Roughly around 90% of my assignments is evaluated by Assessfy AI. So it evaluates the coding assignment, it evaluates the handwritten assignments, and even oral stuff. And I think that gives you a lot of time to pick up the new technology, new tools which are there in the market, and improve the pedagogy, and you can really bring better real world applications and projects into the classroom, right? Because teachers are also human beings, they're not God. They need a lot of time to really prepare. So This is one aspect which you have pointed out. Virginia, over to you now, and I want you to specifically focus that yes, one tool which will help educators to really operationalize the things, but the core of the crux is how do we really put this thing into bites which is digestible by the students and which is typically curriculum, right? And loosely we can say Google Map, which is curriculum. How do we really create for different classes? And that's I think is going to be one of the major challenge other than the teachers training.
I mean, I think that that's one of the things that we do definitely need to consider, and we need to be looking when they talk about this age appropriate progression. We see
Yeah.
this already with all of the subjects that we teach. We look at vertical alignment. So we need to look at how are we going to be vertically progressing knowledge of students as they're going from, one age group or one phase to another in order to scaffold their knowledge so that they're learning how to get the best that they can from learning about AI. So, you could be looking at your younger grades, KG1 to grade 2. And again, when we talk about AI, we talk about AI being in a lot of different facets, right? You have generative AI, you have
Right.
adaptive learning, as we've been discussing. You have programs such as Starfall and things like this that also use AI. IXL. I mean, there's lots of different programs that incorporate AI. So they could be doing in a KG to grade 2, they could be doing like stories and play and like visual activities. There's peekaboo activities, which actually has a big play in what are robots. It's just, make stories and do role play about it. So this is one way that you could roll it out to the younger kids. When you're looking at like your grades 3 to 6, ages 9 to 12, you could be doing like digital thinking, AI applications, looking at data patterns, ethics, start looking into introduction of ethics. And then as you're getting older into those grade 7 to grade 12, you're talking about now designing AI systems, looking at algorithms, because that's going to be supported with the natural progression of other content that they're learning when it comes to math and it comes to science and it comes to, ELA and those kinds of things. So we're looking at, real world simulations, prompt engineering. And this is a very important aspect to AI, especially when we talk about generative AI, is how do we engineer prompts and making sure that we're teaching that to the students. Well, our students have to have a certain level of literacy capability in order to become efficient prompt engineers. So we need to make sure that that progression aligns with the progression of that vertical alignment of our curriculum. In addition to that, when we're talking about doing these the individualized learning, individualized learning plan, and the teachers, I'm going to bring up the D word that a lot of the teachers don't like to hear, which is differentiate. Whenever we bring up differentiate in school, you can always hear teachers go, oh, and my colleagues are correct. It gives us an opportunity to personalize that learning more, but we need to put systems into place to show teachers how to do that, right? So you're looking at multi-tiered systems of support. How do we roll that out into the rotation stations, task rotation? So there's a lot of pedagogy that still goes into it, and we can't forget John Hattie's work on visible learning when we're talking about the impact of human connection, that connection between teachers and students in order to increase learning, and the students' belief in themselves. So we need to make sure that we're doing things, and we're doing like project-based learning, which is one of the most effective frameworks, when it talks about integrating all of this, right? And I've seen that happen with even KG students, grade 1 students. So when we're integrating all of this, we talk about project-based learning. But how do we do that in a way that students are using AI in a way that they understand that they are in control? Because if they don't believe that they are smart enough, to use the machine, they now lose belief in themselves. And that comes straight from John Hattie's work, right? And then they start to flip within their own learning. So we still want to push student autonomy. We still want
Right.
to push that independent thinking and that higher order thinking, right?
Right.
So again, we need to look at it in summarizing, we need to look at that vertical progression, aligning it with what we already know about how students' knowledge vertically progresses. And we need to do that in a way, in a framework such as PBL that allows autonomy, interaction, gaining all of those soft skills that we're looking for the future.
No, so I know that you are a big proponent and champion of project-based learning. And I think this kind of area, AI, which is so vast, right? One lifetime is not enough to really grasp and gain the knowledge and skill of everything, right?
Yeah.
So I was just going through this interview of Demis, the CEO of Google DeepMind, who won the Nobel Prize as well. And he said, you need to learn the existing technology and build up the practical applications, right? And that's what we have been trying to really do for last 10 years in Aegis School of Data Science and AI. And we were pushing students in terms of really doing a lot of projects. And the project-based learning is what actually makes a student get interested, because once you really give them the problem, let's example, currently the students are all building up a facial recognition based attendance system, right? And you can't really teach everything on under this planet. So once they have the problem, this motivate that yes, whatever I am learning, I can really apply and can really build a product. I can also launch my own startup, and they start learning, right? They get glued into this whole idea, right? So they can really transfer whatever the knowledge they have gained previously, and they fill the gap which they don't have, right? And that really works pretty well. And I think that's what in Assessify we have been able to really do. We created the massive repository of the AI projects, right from different grades, right? So that they different difficulty levels, different technology integration, so that they don't just get bored by just learning the theory, but they actually learn by doing it. You wanted to comment, Virginia?
So I was gonna say like, and I even saw this like maybe like on a simpler way within our own school where we were having the students do research and we talked about, in order for it to be the grade 7 students, in order for it to be valid research, you need to have like research more than one source. And then we
Right.
talked about citing the sources as citing text evidence is one of the ELA standards as they're moving through their knowledge when it comes to English language arts. And it was interesting because I said, okay, you guys can use ChatGPT. You guys can use AI to do this research. And I let them do that. Then
Mhm.
I said, okay, now we're going to ask AI, are the resources, the data, the information you gave me, is it verifiable?
Mhm.
Is it credible? You know, all of this kind of thing. And Josh just came up. I asked them to do that. And the one of the beautiful things about AI being a machine is that it tells on itself.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
there were instances where it said, no, it's not
Mhm.
credible. No, it's not
Yes. Yes.
verifiable. No, this
Yes.
is an example. This isn't
Yes.
real data.
Yes.
So it was interesting and it was great for the students to see that and go through that process of, oh, wow, wait a minute. I can't just
Mhm.
take everything that's being sent out to me.
On
I
face
need to
value. Yeah.
actually check it. Yeah. And then we got to go through the exercise of how do we cite evidence? How do we, again, that ethical use, how do we use this ethically? And that was through project-based learning. That was through doing a multi-genre writing project where the students were doing digital magazines. So we used the platform of what we were teaching in order to integrate AI and AI learning into it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Mhm.
So, we open the questions to audience. If audience you have any question, please feel free to start writing on the chat, and you can add the name as well if you want this answer question need to be addressed by some particular panelist. Please feel free to really do that. Uh, Meanwhile, Chandan, over to you. If you have seen the technology journey for almost last 3 decades in various organizations, very briefly, if you have to give somebody advice that how to really operationalize and roll out the AI in the classroom, what are the key factors they should really keep in their mind? Over to you, Chandan.
Yeah, in essence, when I look at landing AI in classrooms, I typically look at 7 different areas in which we can probably focus on. The
Right.
first and the foremost thing that one needs to really look at is that what is it that we are going to teach the students under this whole umbrella of AI
Very true.
curriculum, right? So the first and the foremost is to define the curriculum and the content that is to be taught to the students. Because if you know what you're going to teach, that's when you will know that the teachers needs to be trained on those areas.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not clear about what you're going to teach the students, then there's no way that you're going to train the teachers on
Very
what
true.
they're
Very true.
supposed to teach. So that's the first thing.
Yes.
So age appropriate, ethics first AI curriculum is something which I am a strong advocate of. So that's number one. Number two is to complement this whole content and this thing is that have the labs, AI-driven project labs, which are focused on AI and robotics and project-based learning kits,
Right.
AI for good challenges kind of stuff. So that's a second, right? Third is obviously to get the educators ready for that. So, which would mean then professional development program or teacher training programs for AI.
Yes.
Now, once having done that, it's also important for you to understand that how do you measure the outcome and everything, right? So
Right.
assessment and feedback is something which I would really focus on. So you need to have an AI enhanced assessment generator kind of thing. Maybe have oral or interactive evaluation tools, learning analytics dashboards kind of stuff in a platform. So that's the fourth thing which I would probably advocate. Then if you look at it, it's important for the educators at the same time to also use tools which will make them much more effective. Like, for example, AI lesson planner, content generator, then feedback engine kind of thing, which is there. Assistant, voice or chat assistant. So that's a fifth thing. That's a teacher assistant, so something which I will focus on. And then obviously, to complement the whole journey, you need to have a personalized platform for the students. So you need to have probably a student learning support mechanism, which delivers personalized, engaging, gamified, competency-based education platform. So that's the kind of a sixth thing which I advocate. And the seventh, which is the most important thing which I would probably tell is that when you try to land AI in classrooms, you have to ensure that it's safe, it's fair, and it's transparent, right? So which means that you're talking about governance, ethics, data privacy, and all. So you need to guide and train the whole the ecosystem around the educators and the students in terms of the AI use policies for both of them. What is the kind of infrastructure that you need to have in terms of secure data infrastructure? What is the kind of AI design review panel? Like, for example, students might use AI to complete an assignment, right? How do you put the checks and balance? How do you educate them that that's not the right thing to do? How do you use tools like Turnitin and all that to verify whether the document has been plagiarized or used AI or what? So those are the things which you need to put in place. So these are the 7 areas which I would probably look at when I'm talking to someone in K-12 in terms of how to land AI education in a classroom. It starts with curriculum and it ends with the governance part.
No, wonderful, Chandan. This is like a very pragmatic operating framework which you have laid down, right? And very flexible framework. And the last thing I would like any of the panelists to give and share your opinion. Last, and which is the most important thing, is basically training the teachers. empowering them with the knowledge and skill of the AI tools and the knowledge so that they can really hold hands of the students and impart them. Now, and that is going to be a big challenge, and not only for the UAE, and that challenge I have seen for last 10 years at my own school, right? And how schools are actually managing it, what framework they have, what tool they have, and open to any of you, Dr. Ellen, Yasin, Virginia, any of you can really answer. And even the audience, if you have any comments, feel free to really comment. And IT team, please allow the microphone access to all the participants.
I would like maybe just to add one thing, Mr. Budapest, for Virginia. That was really courageous of you just to leave the students using ChatGPT themselves and then to ask it if it is verifiable. And so this is really a different approach. It is very, very, very courageous, I would say. It is not, it's not easy to allow it in a classroom. And there is one very important point that I would like to raise here. So it is at the end of the day, the AI still it's an artificial intelligence, so it's not a human intelligence, and it can make mistakes. So and it can lead to the opposite target that we have set from the beginning of each project. So, like for example, I'm just going to just maybe list some of the issues that I personally have encountered during my classroom visits in my school or in different schools. I am inspecting other schools with NIASC and company as well. So the things that we have like identifying from the pattern, for example, that you find that the students, the lack of monitoring, where you find that the students are excelling in the results of MAP, for example. So using the AI technology just to answer directly MAP questions, which is an external assessment, and it should be valid. And this is a big danger on this companies like MAP and JL. So and definitely, so when you find sometimes that the students as well, and speaking of the AI tools themselves, for example, like we are having the DP following as well the IB curriculum and the extended essay for students, where you find that the student is writing the essay himself in front of you, and then he is uploading it into the Turnitin. I don't want to name a specific platform, so maybe an AI detector, let's say. So because at the end of the day, that's why I said it's an artificial intelligence. So maybe sometime it's a human written, and it says no, it's an AI written, because it follows certain language patterns or expressions that the student is actually writing. So while you yourself as a human monitoring person is seeing the students is actually writing from, and you know the writing style of the student, and it is being classified as an AI writing. So that's why I would say that it's a double sword edge, where we need to make use of AI and ensure that it is not impacting our judgment as a team, and we use it to help us set in the target and not let AI tools set the targets for us, because this is what's happening. And in some cases, without mentioning names, in some cases where you go into, for example, when you are sitting with the schools for inspection purposes, then you are asking for curriculum documents, where you find that the curriculum documents, like for example, unit maps, the horizontal alignment, vertical alignment between grade levels as well, where you find that it is fully AI written. And then that exactly generated, then you find that yes, it is actually a document that is speaking about a specific standard and the specific unit team or whatever, but it does not suit your actual student in the school. So there is you can easily identify that. So that's the thing. So we have to know our school, and when we know our school and we know our student, then we can use the help of AI to improve a specific plans that are suited to those specific students. So it's not a general, and it is easily when you are dealing with ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever AI tool. Now, even maybe I can open a bracket here where I would say that ChatGPT, DeepSeek, those AI models are only reactive, where you give them, you ask them a question, then they will be just answering your question. The problem here is that when you find that there are some AI models who are proactive, you just give them a task. For example, you say, you know what, whatever. So the whole task. So he can even send emails and he can follow up on without intervention of human element in the whole process. And this can, so once the human mind is being excluded from little, we are in a danger of our future of education in the country. That's why ethical consideration is very important, and then we link it back to the courageous activity that Virginia did, which is letting the students discover themselves that it is actually not 100% reliable.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Like, I think this is a very much legitimate concern, because at the end of the day, when you really see behind the chat GPT or any LLM model, it's just matrix multiplication at a fundamental level. And the outcome, although it seems quite intelligent because it creates a very coherent series of the logical sequence of the words, and sometime when it really writes your email, you see what the heck this has written, right? Because it doesn't have the heart, right? So maybe it doesn't understand the cultural nuances, it doesn't understand fully the context, right? And that's where most of the time I tell my sales team that you write in your own language, just ask ChatGPT to correct it. Don't tell open-ended stuff, ChatGPT write an email for me, and it can really write an essay, which may not really make sense. So thank you so much. It was really wonderful and enlightening session. Just to, as we are wrapping up the panel discussion, let me just summarize what we have discussed so far. So we all actually welcome this UAE's move of introducing AI curriculum in school. And I think this is a role model for the whole the world, right? At the same time, since the vision is a grand vision, we also need to be very much cautious in terms of how do we really roll out in the real world. We need to have very robust operating model, as Chandan has highlighted. We need to really focus on project-based learning, and we need to be very much concerned about the ethical and conscious usage of the AI, and we can't really outsource our cognitive function entirely to the AI, right? And with this note, I express my gratitude and thanks to Virginia, Dr. Ellen, Yasin, Chandan, and all the participants from across the globe for making this session interesting. And this is just beginning of the conversation. Feel free to really write us. And on 19th, we're also organizing another panel discussion, very interesting panel discussion, how to reclaim teachers' time using the auto grading. Do register for that. Circulate that among your faculty members, and reach out to me and Anita and Chandan if you require any kind of assistance in terms of really rolling out your curriculum, in terms of teachers training, in terms of really auto grading, or any other way we can really help you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Presenting you Assessfy, the world's first AI-powered auto-learning outcome measurement system. Let's look at measurement of learning outcome. A singular outcome like the grade or score of 62 out of 100 is an abstract number, offering no insight into a candidate's capabilities